It is not your fault. It is not my fault. It is not Greg's fault for, not knowing, not being educated. That's what we're trying to do.
That's a great point.
Everybody should be represented on screen in some form or fashion.
And the way you do that is to talk about it.
Talk about it.
Hey, I'm Greg Grunberg, and welcome to Talk About It, the podcast where we focus on topics that everybody should be talking about, and hopefully they will be. Not only talking, but screaming about.
Epilepsy shouldn't keep you from doing anything that you want to do.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
While we will continue our focus on epilepsy, of course, we will also look at other health conditions and causes. Our goal is to knock down, drag out, and eliminate stigma and raise awareness. Each episode, you're going to hear from amazing advocates and champions. You will learn, as I will, about how we can all help to make a real difference.
Talking about it is important. It's all about connecting.
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Thank you for talking about it.
Thank you for talking about it.
Talk About It is sponsored by Seizures Are Signs. Seizures Are Signs is dedicated to educating those living with or caring for someone with uncontrolled seizures about the importance of early diagnosis, recognition, and treatment. To learn more, please visit seizuresaresigns.com. Seizures Are Signs is made available by Jazz Pharmaceuticals. All right, so let's jump right into this episode of Talk About It. You all, everybody! Any Lost fans out there? If you're a Lost fan, you know exactly what that reference is. I just watched Lost again with my kids, and pretty amazing. What a great show. I die so quickly. Thank you, JJ. I am so excited about this episode of Talk About It because I have a fellow actor on, but he's also a fellow hero. He wasn't on Heroes with me, but he is a hero to the epilepsy community, and you'll see why in several ways. One of the biggest ways is that he didn't need to devote any time to. He didn't need to do advocacy. He didn't need to star in a short film about epilepsy. He didn't need to then star in the feature version of that film about epilepsy, but he did. And he is constantly asking, how can I help? What can I do? And in 2025, he is coming aboard with Talk About It to play a bigger part. And I couldn't be happier. So without further ado, I cannot wait for you to hear all that Pearce Joza is doing with and for the epilepsy community on this incredible episode of Talk About It! You want everybody! Okay, I'm turning my cell phone off. Have you done that already? You're a consummate pro.
Dude, I walked in here and I thought we were rolling already.
Like when your phone goes off on the set, sometimes a second AD will be like, all right, $10.
Oh, yeah. No, you know what? I've never gotten that, but I have heard the story of, was it Chris Nolan on the sets? If you're like sleeping or whatever, if you're like, kind of just relaxing or sitting, he hates sitting or whatever it is, right? Of course, I've never worked with him, but yeah. I've heard the stories, plenty of stories about like, oh, you're on your phone, you're sitting down, you're sleeping, you're in trouble or whatever.
That's right.
I never had that. I don't think what's the worst blunder I've ever had on set. Like,
here's the thing, you started so young that you always had your mom on set with you. So
yeah.
Like,
you know what's funny is, and she's gonna get on me about this when she sees this, but I as a kid, I asked her really young, probably was like 12 or 13, like my first big thing. I was like, would you please not be on set? Just because I felt like I couldn't act like fully with her there.
So
and she was really respectful of it. And we've had a conversation since, and I've explained myself. I was like, you know what? I feel like I care too much about what you're thinking for me to be completely free in the moment because I look up to you so much. So that's actually, yeah. And she respected it. And she
so
was
you know what's really interesting about that is because some of the, and they use the term Disney kids, right?
Yeah.
You weren't really a Disney kid. Like your acting has never been, and I'm not saying it's because you're sitting here. There are some actors, I mean, we work with them, adults that are like this, that aren't listening. They know their stuff and they work it, and kids work it with their parents. We did it last night like this, just do it. Yeah. So with the mom in the wings, I could imagine like that would be, not that that was your case with you, but I get it. You have to be able to just do your thing. And you're a great actor. Not a lot of these kids that come up, and you crossed over. Yeah. Like, how old were you when you started?
My first SAG job was when I was almost 13. I was 12 and like probably a couple days away. So I was still
And
12.
commercial?
It was a commercial. It was for Hewlett Packard, and it never saw the light of day.
It
but-
never saw the light of day because, like, if you
know
say
what,
that,
actually-
Nick's gonna pull it up
No,
right now.
no, I mean, do it. If you can find it, I'll pay you $100.
But there's no way they'll list it as Pearce Joza. That you remember these commercial days, right? What is this? Oh wait. No wait.
We can't hear the music.
Look at you!
Hey.
Look at you! Oh my god, that's awesome, dude. Okay, first of all, could you be more adorable as a little kid?
I know.
Wow.
You know what's crazy is my mom is amazing. She's the best thing ever. And if you roll that back just a second and you go where the guy got the phones on his back, can you go back to that? They're right there. Okay, so those tables. So this was shot in Oakland, and it was like right there. These tables. So it was all shot in the same like kind of area in Oakland. And the day before I was supposed to show up on set, my mom was like, yo, you know what would be a really smart idea is if we go there today, because the people, they're definitely going to be scouting today. Like they're definitely going to be there. And so we went there and we sat down and we happened to be sitting next to the directors or the people making it, the producer's director or whatever. And they go, whoa. Like, wait, we just hired you. And I was like, we were like, oh yeah, I just thought I just scouted out before. And so that was the kind of my first professional
and by the way,
decision that my mom
they probably so
suggested.
appreciated.
Yeah,
They're
they
like,
did.
you were doing a little research.
Yeah.
You were trying to get familiar on the set.
And frankly, it did help because I remember they told where I was that door that they ran out of was just right around the corner.
By the way, the thing I love about this right here is
Yeah.
that you're on screen and your headshot is above you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's really appropriate. Okay, Tunnel of Love, McDonald's.
Yeah, give me this.
Okay, hold on.
Okay,
My turn,
this is
though.
a good one. So while you're searching for that, your connection to the epilepsy community, first of all, your devotion to it. You've always been supportive of me, of Talk About It, and you're just amazing. So, not to give anything away, but we are, officially going to be working together in 2025, which I'm really excited about because we need your help. And it's so nice to have somebody that, thank God, doesn't have a connection to epilepsy, right? Family or anything, but that cares enough and likes the people. I mean, we're just so like-minded as far as helping. And also,
Really?
Yeah, look.
Oh, man.
Look, here we go. Oh. Oh, yeah.
99 cents.
Right?
Oh, my God.
Look.
That's why you're so happy, man.
That's right. I mean, this is just absolutely a memory. Look at this.
Oh, my
Okay,
God.
so let me just tell you, and I know.
Oh, my God. That's...
and you've had this experience, but that it was about, I don't know, maybe 19 takes, wide, close, the boat didn't work, whatever, and I had to bite 19 and I've done many. I did over 50 commercials back in the day.
Yeah.
And first I'm like, Big Macs are delicious.
Yeah.
Have it, and then they were like, oh, you need a spit bucket, and I'm like, I don't need a spit bucket, dude. After 8 bites,
You're feeling...
We love McDonald's. Yeah. Talk about it. It's,
no.
No, it's not a McDonald's thing. Okay, no, let me tell this story really quickly. I know we want to move on, but
No.
you can't find this because it's not on the internet probably.
Try me.
All right, fine. So there was a show I did for BYU TV. It was called Dwight in Shining Armor.
If anybody doesn't realize, by the way, BYU TV is massive.
Yo, huge.
I mean,
the budget for this was like unbelievable.
and they reach an audience like Comcast.
Yeah.
Like they are all over the world. And I pitched a show to BYU. Okay,
Really?
so was it a show?
It was a show. It ran for quite. Yeah, there it is. There's Caitlin Carmichael and Sloan and and so I was only on a few episodes. I can't remember how many I did, but it was I remember it was the first episode I did, and I was still pretty young.
Yeah.
I was thinking I was still 14 or something like that, and I went and did it, and
Was that your first sort of like recurring?
No,
14?
No. I was on a show for when I was basically from like end of 12 to like early 14, where I was in like almost every episode.
Which was what?
It was called Mech X4.
Oh,
it was on Disney, and it was.
I didn't realize you were that young. Yeah. Of course,
I was the youngest by many years. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So this is BYU show.
Yeah. So this is the BYU TV. So it was shot in Salt Lake City in Utah, and we went down there, and there's a scene in it basically, and I don't know if maybe you can find this, man. Blow my mind. But anyway, where my character is eating ravenously. He's eating this cobbler, this blueberry or cobbler of some kind. And they would come and reset it every take, right? And I would be using this scene was like so gargantuan because there was so much coverage. There was like 5 or 6 characters in the scene
At a table.
around a fire, and it was like, oh man, like so
The worst scenes to cover because so people don't understand, but like, okay, so Pearce, let's say Nick was sitting here and then 2 other people.
This hasn't happened. Is this it?
Holy. How did you?
No, we're dancing.
Yes, I think this is it.
Fresh blackberry cobbler.
Yeah, blackberry cobbler.
Nick is in.
That's I actually don't think I've ever seen this scene, but watching it on playback.
But the whole point is like if
whatever.
you're sitting around a table, if you don't know, when you see it's the camera has to be here getting my reaction to Nick, then a camera over here, my reaction to Pearce, then Pearce's reaction to me. So it is an endless. When people are sitting around a table, you always go, it's gonna be a long.
Might have
day.
been one of the 1 or 2 scenes we shot that day. Was that. And I think there's more to it. I can't remember. You'd have to find the actual episode, which I don't know where it's available. But I think my character and my father's character walks in, so it's 2 more people. And then so you got to make sure, you got to make sure you have all the coverage on everybody. Then you can't be on the wrong axis or else it looks wrong. And it's like, so then you're fighting with all this math, basically. Yeah, it was crazy. So it was a ton of takes. And in those metal cans or metal, soup bowls, whatever, was this cobbler, right? This blackberry cobbler. And they would come reset it. But every time they would just add like sugar to it. So by the end, it was almost like pure sugar that you were just eating. And man, my mouth was like raw by the end of the day. I was like, I could taste nothing.
Right.
I went home. I was like, I need to ice my mouth. Anyway, so
that's it. This is how they torture. Even BYU, they torture kids.
Oh yeah,
anything to get the shot.
No, it was that was an excellent experience. That was
okay. So take me through just the quick so people can refresh. So from there, next big thing after
that was zombies for sure. The next big thing was zombies, and it was
and how many zombie movies?
Oh man, there's so many zombies IPs that I've done. So I did 2 movies, 2 features, Zombies 2 and 3. And then I have done maybe 4 different animated things for them. Right now is airing season 1 of Zombies, the Reanimated series, which is our biggest animated series on XD and the channel and the main channel. And then we have season 2 coming out, and we'll see where we go from there.
And Comic-Cons? Are you doing Comic-Cons like crazy?
Oh, you know what? I've never done one. Not once, which is crazy.
Oh my gosh! I think we found our new lead singer for the band, Nick. You have action figures of you from Zombies, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes, I think so.
Done.
Yes,
then you're in the band.
There's something somewhere. I think it's pop. What are those pop
toys?
Pop toys.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's a pop
Funko
toy.
Pops.
Funko Pops.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So
and then
the
it was
zombies,
and that has not ended. Like I'm still.
It's a gift that keeps giving.
Oh yeah, it's incredible, and it's one of the best things I've ever been involved.
I love it.
But, but actually, so talking about that being involved in epilepsy, I got involved with Under the Lights. That was my first.
Yeah, so Under the Lights was a short.
Yes.
That Miles Levin put together the short, and I met Miles through Ken Lowenberg, who obviously I do talk about it with, and you're very good friends with, and so Ken was like, okay, dude, this short. It was so moving. It's Miles' personal. Miles has been on the podcast, so we've talked about this before. An incredible thing. How did he find you? How did you get associated with this? Because I remember Miles called.
I'll give you one guess. I'll give you one guess, and I'll give you a hint. It's something we've touched on heavily already. It's very important to me. It's about how I got involved in this.
Ken?
My mom.
Oh,
yeah, my mom got me involved in this.
How so?
It's so there was a actress that I worked with who plays opposite me in the short. Her name's Alyssa Jarrell. She's absolutely incredible. I met X4 with her. She was on season 2 of the show.
Okay,
and she's from where Miles is from, Sonoma County in Northern California. And Miles was written the short. He's ready to shoot it. And he's like, all right, well, I need actors. So he goes to the local theater and to the theater director and says, hey, do you know anybody who'd be good? And she said, there's this young lady and she's in California and she's in LA now, but so you could give her a try. I don't know, And so he tried her, and it's all Alyssa. She came to me. I was in Florida at the time, and she called me and she said, hey, there's something we got going on. And probably one of the most flattering compliments I've ever been given was she said, when we were told that they were looking for a lead male actor opposite me, it needed to be very heavy in physicality because of the seizures and because of the kind of that demanding work. And she said, you're a very physical actor. And at first I said, what'd you call me? And then
I heard the word heavy. I'm like, why didn't I read for the role? Different kind of heavy. Okay, got it.
So she
You
said,
do the Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. You're like, what do you mean physical? What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
Physical health. Physical health.
Oh, I'm physical to you?
Yeah.
Are you I make you physical?
yeah. And then so she said, but you're really, we really think of you as her and her mom said, Pearce would be a great choice. So anyway, I actually initially I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like this is right for me. I don't know anything about epilepsy. This is not the first time I'm hearing about it, but the first time I'm hearing about it. Like surface level understanding at the time doesn't even begin to explain or do justice to the lack of knowledge that I had. I just knew nothing.
And by the way, you were in the majority.
Yeah,
most people say, "Oh yeah, there was somebody in my elementary school who fell to the ground and was shaking."
Yeah, it's exactly what we talk about. My mom also has a great story, and I don't mean to go too off topic, but like my mom is this great story, just a very illustrative story of she was going to high school in New Jersey in the '80s, and they had a young lady who had a seizure one day, and it was everybody was rushing to shove their wallet in her mouth and which is not what you do,
right?
And it's nice to see the leaps and bounds that it has come from the 80s and from
you think so,
but that was just about to say, it's like, well, we could be way further along, way further along, which is what got me involved, because my mom at the time was like, oh no, this is unbelievable. My mom has this uncanny ability to see the future sometimes, as most moms do. Yeah. And she goes, oh, you don't know how important this is going to be.
Bless your mom, man.
Glad. Yeah. You don't know how important this is going to be. And I listened to her, and to give myself credit, I wasn't like, man, but I was like, yeah, okay. You're my mom. I trust you. And I understand what you're saying.
Coming up on Talk About It.
I don't drink. I have seizures.
Hey, I just wanted to pop out and stress that Pearce has no direct connection, thank God, to the epilepsy community. No one in his family is affected or anything, but he took it upon himself to do what he can for this community that he cares about. So don't let a cause find you. If you are motivated, if you think something's important and you want to get involved, get involved. Reach out to the people involved, the people that are in that community, and say, I want to do more, I want to help. Even if it's something little or whatever, there's nothing more satisfying, gratifying, that makes you feel better than helping others. I hate the word charity, but I define charity as doing something for others without expecting anything in return. Even if it's a neighbor or something, you see somebody that needs help, say to them, hey, you know what, I'm going to check in, or just do it. Check in with them once a week. There's a walk, there's an event, there's something. Reach out to the people that plan it and say, hey, can I help set up? Can I help clean up? Can I help get the word out if you're a social media person? It's just worth it. It's so satisfying. Today, we all need to help each other. It takes a village, and there are people like Pearce out there who are just willing to make that village bigger and stronger, and so should you.
So she said, all right, well, let's get to the information from Alyssa. So she, because I was still 15 or 14 or whatever, and she was like, all right, I'll email Miles. Miles came back and he's like, instead of just having a tape or whatever, let me meet him on Zoom didn't exist, but FaceTime or whatever it was. And okay, and so we sat down, and I was in my apartment in Alhambra, California, and I just read with Miles for a while. We just worked on the script. We just read it, and he direction. We worked on it, and it was very clear that he knew what he wanted. I think it was very clear to him that I knew I could do it. I could give him what he was looking for. Yeah. And that was it. And then a couple weeks later, we said okay, and we did the short for like nothing, right? There was no money to do the short, which is how most shorts go. But it was a blessing because you were involved with it and talk about it in a small way, but you in a big way. But just oh my God, the confidence that gave us going into shorts or film festivals and to pitching it to people and then into making what we now have as a feature. Yeah.
So I just want to say, so Miles, I just have so much respect for a guy who not only is opening up his story and telling his story, but he's an accomplished filmmaker. So he's like, okay, you know what? I want to tell the story. And I was just so blown away by the fact that he was going to do it. The other thing that I was blown away by is, Jake, my son Jake, right?
Yes,
so you know him very well. Yep. But he wants to be on set. There's no better feeling, as you and I know. It doesn't feel like work when you're on set. He wants to be on set. He wants to work on set. And he's great on set. Yeah. Jake's great when he's PAing or when he's working on set. And he's acted with me in a few different things, played my son in a few different things. But you have to be up at 6 a.m. Or 5 a.m. to get there at 6. And then you leave at 7:30, and then you got to return the next day. And so you're sleep deprived.
Or the weirder one, when we did that movie in Phoenix, that Jake was playing a young version of you.
Yes.
All night shoots. Which
right.
for him is like,
It was crazy, and thank God Nick was there. I was starring in this thing, and then you were there. Nick's in it. Jake was in it, and Jake was playing a young version of me in it, and it was like, but it worked. And that's, by the way, that's another thing. And this is what Miles, what I learned from Miles. He was like, I said, Miles, aren't you worried about having a seizure while you're directing or whatever? And he goes, the whole point of Under the Lights is I wanted to go to my prom knowing I was going to have a seizure because of the lights. Yeah. So he's like, screw it, I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm not going to let, and this is what, again, I've said this a million times on the show, but Jake and I talk about it. Jake talks about it, and a lot of people do. Jake has epilepsy. Epilepsy doesn't have him. So he's like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to take my chance. Or not. It's not going to let it stop me from the things I want to do.
Precisely.
So how weird was it in the short? And now, by the way, just so everybody knows, you guys finished a feature that is getting huge response at film festivals. And things.
Yeah, we're. I'm not at liberty to share too much, but you're right. It is. We are so blessed. Nick Offerman's in the movie, and just to name drop, but there's a story behind.
Which I was like, how awesome is that? I'm not a part of the feature.
Unbelievable.
I was a producer on the short and helped out just in confidence in my name, like you said. Yeah. But then now I'm just so proud of all of you. Yeah. And so Lake Bell, who was sitting right there.
Yes.
Lake plays your mom in it. And so a couple things. How was it? You did it in the short, and then you've known Miles, but to play him.
Yeah.
That's odd, man.
Yeah. I'd have to say, initially in the short, I think I really leaned into playing Miles, and I learned a lot from his story. I spent a lot of time with him, one-on-one, alone, like lots and lots of time, which was good because it was that research that needed to be done. But in the feature, Sam, my character's name, he's different. He is not Miles.
That's good.
And that was, both of us came kind of amicably to that decision. I think it was solidified when we were working. We had a week of rehearsals before we started shooting. I asked if me and Tanzyn, my co-lead, this young lady, oh my God, she is probably one of the best actors I've ever worked with. No question. I mean, Tanzyn Crawford.
Wow.
Whew, I mean, knock your socks off.
Say her name again.
Tanzyn Crawford. Knock your socks off. Incredible.
Tanzyn Crawford. We're going to bring up her photo.
Yeah, and
right
I think
now.
she's working on the new Game of Thrones spinoff series right now, and she's
wow.
Yeah, she was on was it Catherine Hahn that she worked with in the Hulu show?
Awesome.
Yeah, the Tanzyn. Oh my God, next.
And did she just read for it and got it?
Yeah, she read for it, and it was almost as if like it was like, oh, thank God we found her, because Molly is a really challenging character. Molly is the character who kind of becomes pals with Sam during the movie. Not to ruin anything, but and kind of has a very deep connection with Sam in more ways than one. Nothing romantic, of course, but it's you come to find out in the movie that they're more similar than you might think, and so it really lends a perspective to we're all living in the same world. We're all living with the same similar issues, and lots of them overlap.
When you decided that Sam wasn't going to be like Miles, was it because you were like, Miles, look, you're not a very likable person?
Exactly.
So
that's what I said. Sat him down and I said, man, no, when we were doing these rehearsals, I asked for me and Tanzyn to come out a week early and work with Miles one-on-one, and we did for a couple hours every day, and it was so helpful. But it was just kind of that magic that we all know as actors, where you get with another person, never met Tanzyn before, never spoken to her before. And I said, hello, and then we just read the scene, and it was just off to the races. It was like something new. It was not the short. It was something completely new.
I love it.
And
by the way, it had to be.
Yes, it did have to be. And what I was going to say about Nick,
sorry. What?
Hey,
Randall Park as well.
Yeah, Randall is in it. Oh my God,
Randall's in it?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh yeah.
This is fantastic. Yeah, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, Randall.
From Deadline.
He was. Yeah, Randall is freaking incredible too. I mean, dude, I was like, like Lucky does not.
Some
cut it.
some things, by the way, because I'm producing and I'll see something on social media, someone on social media,
Yeah.
and I'll go, oh, this person would be great if they had their own show,
Yeah.
unscripted, right?
Yeah.
Or this is a great story or a short, it should be a feature, and then it doesn't always work because you're like, you know, and so obviously a short film, I don't care if it's under the lights and has to do with epilepsy and a character like that, it may not translate.
Yeah.
So who wrote the script? Did Miles write the script?
Miles wrote every word of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then he sent you the script, and I'm sure you were like, okay, can he pull the taffy?
Oh, yeah.
Is it going to be, because the beginning, you know, the end, you know.
Yeah.
How do you make that?
Yeah, and you know what? Miles did a great job about not. I mean, he do have to kind of pull the taffy a little bit because
Yeah, of course.
it's the same kind of story. But he did, you know, the other taffy that he kind of mixed in there to make a bigger taffy was the perfect kind. I mean, he made a story that makes sense. It really works. And it is not just an homage to the short. Like it is, like I said, its own animal. And what Nick said when we were working with him that one day is, and then after he got done with that, he said, it's impossible to, making a feature is an impossible thing. And then yet somehow it's done frequently.
True.
And, you know, any kind of feature you should be proud of, but this, especially, you know, after, you know, nobody will ever know, of course, what it took to make this kind of project or any other kind of project,
Yeah.
you know, but it does take, you know, way more than like even in the moments that you're like, I'm not willing to give, but you do anyway. And
Yeah,
it's-
and from the conversations we've had, and again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but you've told me about some scenes that are just big. That were you're like very ambitious for a movie that
yeah.
should really be talking heads and then a seizure. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, that's
Yeah,
not what this is.
No, it is a story. It is a
Great.
story, and that is what makes me so proud of this movie is we are talking about epilepsy, but through the creative medium of filmmaking, of cinema, and so I was worried, and I know Miles was as well, about getting too far into a territory that was just like, hey, here's talking points, here's epilepsy, instead of letting the people learn it because they're entertained.
Love it.
And that is, in my opinion, what really works so well.
It's the only way to do it, dude.
Yeah,
Think about it. If it
really
was
works
called,
so well.
epilepsy, one man's seizure story.
Right,
Do you think anybody would give a crap?
No,
If this was
and-
called Talk About Epilepsy, no one would. I mean,
Yeah.
we have incredible people that are in the community. When I meet somebody, I mean, you and I are friends, but I'm talking about like when I meet somebody in the community, I'm like, whoa, this person is a warrior. This is somebody I want to keep close to me.
Yeah.
And they always go, if there's ever anything I can do. I just met Chris Bender, right? Chris Bender, I knew he was a producer and I knew he produced a lot of things, but he was introduced and by Ben Dector, who has the musical. Ben was just here.
Yes.
And he's like, you should really meet Chris. I look up Chris's. Chris is a producer. His daughter has epilepsy, and he is so passionate and wants to help in any way possible.
No.
We were supposed to be on the phone on a Zoom for 20 minutes. We were on for an hour and 40 minutes. He's such a great guy. Produced, only the Hangover series and American Pie and like everything.
Yeah.
Would never know it. He's just the salt of the earth greatest guy, and I can't wait to do things with. So I'm like, that's a person now I'm holding on to. You and I have always, but I'm saying it's amazing. We have we have the group to creatively come up with something where it's entertaining. I hope this podcast is that way. Like people say, I love the podcast and I learn stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Through creative medium,
Right.
you can do that where it's like, well, the movie was great. Oh, that's right. That's what,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, listen. My mom is a psychologist. Funny enough, but so maybe she would be able to explain this to me. But there's some type of thing that happens psychologically, at least in my opinion, from myself and from observing other people when you learn through entertainment, right? Instead of being like, here's
Yes.
this is brick and mortar, instead of like the abstract. And that's, I don't know, it's just like, it blows me away every time.
You know what's also interesting about caregivers is because that's what I am as a caregiver, right? Yeah. I've met other caregivers, other parents, and they're all. We had this project that we were going to do, and it was called Special. Just the tentative title was Special, and it was parents of kids. When we get together, we're drinking, we're throwing F-bombs, we're laying into docs, we're laying into social workers, we're laying into friends and family and whatever. Like that, she doesn't understand what the hell I'm going through. Like there's a shorthand when you get together with somebody that like. And it just breaks all the barriers. There's nobody's on, eggshells worrying about what the wrong thing to say. We're all going through this. Yeah. And it prioritizes everything because, the most important thing is the loved one or whoever's going through it. So you're as a caregiver going, and it's like you can let your hair down and it's relatable and whatever. So we were going to do the sitcom where and it was huge actors. We all got together here. Yeah. And the project never came together. Yeah. But it was awesome. So it's finding the right balance where you're not preaching. That's the thing. And it doesn't sound like the movie preaches at all. It's all character-based, right?
No, it really doesn't. And that's you couldn't have said it better. It doesn't preach. It does teach, but it doesn't preach, I guess. But, it's you're not sitting there the whole time. You're not basically, having somebody, like I said, explain it to you in a brick and mortar way. It's
break the fourth wall. Like 1.2% of people.
It's exactly.
What was that thing on?
You will know a person once in your life.
But the VH1 used to do that where they have
pop-up videos.
Yeah, pop-up videos where it's like, Mom, you don't understand. 94% of people don't understand it.
No, it's not like that. It is a movie. It's a movie, and that's why we have Randall Park, Nick, Lake, Mark, all these myself.
I know,
and
it's
Tanzyn,
awesome.
And once again,
why didn't
Tanzyn's
Miles
so
hire me? Hey, Miles. I don't understand. What, you didn't see Star Wars, Star Trek, Heroes, Alias, Lost? Anyway.
Oh no, he did. And then we were like, oh, no. Oh, God.
I'm not working with that guy.
Greg, dude, are you kidding me?
Coming up on Talk About It.
Compared to other well-known disorders or diseases, epilepsy research is like underfunded by like 2,500% or whatever.
Wow.
Like some unbelievable figure. I think we totally have the ability to fund these, every single one.
And if you hit it over the head, it's not going to get done. But if you creatively suck people into the world, that's the way it ends.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you're thinking. Okay, enough. You're talking about this great short film, Under the Lights. You've got an amazing guest in Pearce Joza, the star of Under the Lights. Hey, Greg, show us a clip from Under the Lights. Okay, here it is.
So, how many beers did it take to get you into the girls' bathroom?
I don't drink. I have seizures. It's a blindfold. I thought it would help with the light. I guess not. You can't tell anyone. You can't tell anyone, please.
Of course.
She's saving a dance for me.
Why don't you just hang here for a bit?
Wait, no. Wait. Please come back. Wait, no, stop. If you stay in here, I'll talk to you.
So tell me where the movie is now and what the plan is. Because I know you guys are in festivals already.
Sort of. Yeah. So we're in. There's certain festivals we are in contact with that where it's may or may not, but is looking positive, like it will premiere there or at least play there. And I'm not gonna talk about the names just because I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But where it's currently at, it's almost done. We just did, what was it? 12 hours of ADR over 2 days.
Wow.
Which was
that's not a good sign.
No, yeah, it's terrible. No, it actually is a good sign. The movie, there was a cut of the movie that was longer than Dune 2. which that was like the assembly cut, right? It was
Clearly.
you'll never see that, but
Right.
like it was when you cut a movie together. I mean, you have all this footage. I can't imagine what Dune 2 assembly cut was.
Right.
It was like Ben-Hur squared. Like
Exactly.
it was like oh my god.
So 12 hours of ADR. That means you did the movie. You did all your ADR in English, Spanish, German, and French.
Yes,
like
that's
you had
right.
to do all of it.
And the TV version covering up the swear words.
Yes, that's
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. So, but ultimately,
Mr. Falcon,
with this cast, this is a real movie. So,
well, that's why. I mean, they had to bring everybody in. We were meticulous about. It wasn't like we had like a bajillion dings to fix. It was
Right.
we were very meticulous.
Yeah.
We have an incredible sound team, and we're not screwing around. I mean, and why
Yeah.
would you when you have the ability to not, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't. I mean, it's.
So
Absolutely incredible.
how soon are people going to be able to see this? Is there a website? There is a website, right? Under the Lights?
Underlightsfilm.com.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know actually what it says. That is Miles's domain, and since we've been so focused on, we're making a feature. I don't know what happens when you sign up for the.
This is good. So you can watch the short.
Yep.
Then you can also put your email in to get more information, I think, and you can learn about everything.
There we are again.
That's great.
There we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep. So.
Subscribe. You can subscribe, and that'll like you said.
Yeah, so I don't know what's being sent out in that newsletter because that's Miles's thing.
Yeah,
I know
but
we
it's
haven't
great.
discussed about that, but there might be more information there if anybody's curious about when it will come out. But I will say that it will be done soon,
Okay.
like imminently.
And I don't have a list of the support that was given because there's so many people that supported this film,
my
companies
God.
and all of them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to list, but you know who you are. If you're listening to the podcast right
Yeah.
now and you're part of that company, this person that donated, whatever,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
From the community, thank you, because a movie
Yeah.
like this is a real movie. This
And when we hopefully get the privilege of letting this explode on the scene, you will be recognized.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, and wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
If that wasn't the case, would not have happened. No way, nor we could not have done it the way we did. I mean,
Yeah.
we were talking about a specific scene in the movie that we won't mention that took an entire week to shoot this one scene. And it was.
But that's just
which you
because-
hear for like a Marvel movie or something like that has like a bajillion times the budget of ours.
I know, but
right?
I know how difficult you are on set, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
That was a blueberry cobbler scene?
It was probably like 5 setups and we were out, but I was like, absolutely not.
Exactly.
Absolutely
One
not.
more close-up.
I was like DiCaprio in The Revenant. I was like, I need to take the helicopter back and watch the take.
Can you imagine?
But I mean, he
dude?
won an Oscar for it. So
Yeah, exactly.
incredible.
All right, here's my other question. When are we going to work together? That we have to make happen.
Well, we are going to work together.
Well,
on
talk about it. Yes, for sure. But I'm talking about I really want to do something with you.
Oh, we were talking. I don't know. Maybe we weren't talking about this. Maybe this was in my head because the voices are so loud. But there's So I'm producing a pilot. And we got the money for it.
Oh yeah, we did. We
it.
did mention that.
Yeah. So
this reminds me of the next thing that I wanted to talk about because it's called Talk About It. And let's spill the beans. If you don't want to spill the beans, we don't have to. But
spill the beans.
okay,
Yeah.
let's spill the beans on the documentary.
Yeah, please.
Because I
Those beans need to be
love you.
spilled.
Yes, this is something you've taken by your own, volition, accord.
Yeah.
You were like, I want to, and this is in the epilepsy community. What the hell is this? I can't tell everybody.
Yeah.
And then we're going to make this happen.
Yeah, so once again, I'm going to thank my mom because she was the one who pushed me to do it. And I was so young when so basically, here's what it is. So I went around in 2018 to 2019, and maybe 10 or more states that I went to. I visited, close to 100 different people, maybe a little bit more because I interviewed parents and doctors and stuff.
Nick, can you believe this? And by the way, this is all now, he's letting us into this. I'm going to help finish this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In an amazing way. Yeah.
No, it needs to be finished. So, and what happened, I mean, I don't know if anybody could possibly guess what happened a year after 2019, but, it rhymes with COVID. Yeah. So
That's how it's referred to, by the way, now. It's like, do you guys remember COVID?
Yeah. And no, but it's like, there was a whole plan to make it way bigger than it was.
Right.
Because I only got, I got maybe 10% of what I wanted.
But this was you
with
a camera and
it was me
microphone.
and my mom helped because I was a kid and I couldn't get on planes by myself. So but much more than that. She was really, there's a million different things that she did to help me. But it was me and her, and that was it. There was a plan to get that done first, kind of show what we had, and then go way bigger, right? You could kind of have, because we did that for like not a lot of money. I mean, in comparatively, we got so much content for not a lot.
Yeah.
And what really bummed me out is next year we had COVID, and everybody remembers nothing was happening.
That's right. So it just shut you down.
Gone, shut down, nothing I could do, and then I went to college. I moved across the country to North Carolina. I went to school.
Yeah.
And then I did a movie, and we struggled to try to keep it going. It didn't happen for a multitude of reasons. Mm-hmm. And then we were just discussing it the other night, and I have all this footage.
Love it.
4 terabytes of maybe more of footage that needs to be used, and these people need to have their stories told. And,
I can't wait. It's going to be talk
so
about it.
We are going to we're going to talk about it produced.
It'll be talk about executive, whatever. It's your movie, but we're going to help it get over the finish line.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Roman. Yeah.
No, I'm just so excited that because I don't even have something like that to bring to the table. You're like, and by the way, here's 4 terabytes
we got
of epilepsy.
Dune 2 cut.
Yeah.
You got way more than Dune 2. You got Dune 5. Oh man.
I can't wait. So
we are going to work on that together in the new year, I'm incredibly excited. I remember because I was like 15 when I did that, and dude, just like sitting with these people, I can't imagine what it would be now. I'm 22 now.
How long has it been since you visited or revisited that material? Like watched any of that stuff?
I've actually watched it pretty recently.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit before we talked, maybe like a week before we talked about it. But before then, it had been like 6 months, 8 months, or whatever it had been. And but it's gold. I mean, it's just gold, and not because everybody's like cha-ching, but it's just like this what they gave me, what these people took out of their time to give me was absolute gold.
So that's what I have found every step of the way. Nick and I on this podcast over and over again is we get people sitting in this chair or on Zoom or whatever, and I mean, your family in the Talk About It family, but I'm talking about like just everybody. You go, wow, this is really exciting. Like it affects people. They step up, they do this or that, young and old, they create something. And it's a way of channeling their energy because epilepsy is one of those sort of hidden, diseases where you have it, but people don't know you have it until they see you have a seizure or whatever. So being proactive and taking control, it's just great. And you have no connection personally, thank God, but you have a love for helping people. It's just great.
Yeah. What's crazy about what you just said is epilepsy kind of being more of an unknown disorder. When I was just starting this documentary that I have yet to finish, and we will finish, there was a doctor by the name of Joseph Sullivan. He works at UCSF and has been extraordinarily kind to me and a lot of people that I know. And he's an amazing epileptologist. And he, I sat down with him. It was actually, this was in preparation, I believe, for the documentary. I sat down with him because I really wanted to get more intimately familiar with the different kinds of seizures. And I was able to visit UCSF in their epileptology department. And he was live EEGs and, videos of these people, videos of brain surgery. What's funny is Joseph and I, Dr. Sullivan and I, we did that. We went up and we toured the hospital, and then we went and had lunch. And he just brought up on his phone. He was like, "Oh yeah, I just did this brain surgery the other day," and we watched like the whole thing on his phone, which is insane. And anyway, it was just lend like this.
He's like, in the middle, you'll see my phone falls into the brain cavity.
Yes, and got to get the whatever.
Exactly, Seinfeld.
No eating in the operating room, but no, I mean it was just it lended a perspective that was like you can't possibly fathom it if you've never seen it. I could never have done it. I mean, it's just unbelievable to watch this kind of stuff. So,
well, I'm excited. Without giving anything else away, I'm just really excited for the future for that.
Yeah.
For us working together more and talk about it.
But what Dr. Sullivan said when we were having this talk right before I was about to go off to around the country, Atlanta, Rhode Island, Connecticut, all over the place, right? That I went, and he said, I don't know if this is the exact figure, but it's pretty close. I'm pretty sure. Compared to other well-known disorders or diseases, AIDS, some types of cancer, whatever, epilepsy research is like underfunded by like 2,500% or whatever.
Wow.
Like some unbelievable figure. And I think we totally have the ability to, fund these, every single one. And if that and to do that, if we have to fight for attention and fight for people, that's there's nothing more
important
and nothing better, right?
And if you hit it over the head, it's not going to get done. But if you creatively suck people into the world, that's the way.
Exactly.
You're doing that.
You don't want to make people feel like they're in the wrong, because they're not. Yeah. It is not your fault it is not my fault. It is not Greg's fault. It is not anybody's fault.
Kind of Nick's fault.
Maybe your fault,
but
certainly not my fault.
No, it's not your fault. No.
But it is not anybody's fault for not knowing, not being educated. That's what we're trying to do.
That's a great point.
Everybody should be represented on screen in some form or fashion, including
And the way you do that is to talk about it, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on the pod.
I'm freezing. Do you feel how cold my
I know.
hands
Why
are?
are you so cold?
I don't know.
Cold
dude.
hands,
it's not
warm
even
heart.
Cold in here, but
no, it's awesome. No, I love you. Thank you for coming. You'll be on the podcast more, obviously, doing other stuff. And what a great episode. Thanks, Nick, for bringing up those clips like 1, 2, 3.
You're really loving on that Big Mac, dude.
Well, that's a wrap on another episode of Talk About It. Remember, we're all human. We're all dealing with something, and a little compassion every day can change so many lives. Thank you to our special guests. Special thanks to our sponsor, SeizuresAreSigns.com. Thank you to J.J. Abrams for our theme music. Thank you to Nick Marzak for producing, directing, editing, and incidental music. On behalf of my fellow producers, Ken Lohenberg and Nick Marzak, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And if you're not watching, go to talkaboutitonvideo.com to watch these episodes. They're now on video as well. I'm Greg Grunberg. Don't forget to talk about it, and I will see you next time.
This podcast is a production of the Talk About It Company.